Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. We are going to have some fun today because I have two sommeliers with us who are also part of our Rogue Media family of podcasts with Some of Our Thoughts. That's the name of it. And what a delight to have Sarah Carter and, no, I already screwed up. Okay. Cut. Normally I try to do this live to tape, and so they don't have any editing to do. Sarah, I know a Sarah Carter. Sarah Carter. Yeah. Lee Carter's daughter.
Sarah Carter.
Okay. So that's why I did that.
Living.
Okay. Just so as long as I know why I have blonde moments, that's really great moments. Okay, here we go. Give it 5 seconds. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Ann Harder here with you, and we are going to have a lot of fun today with these lovely ladies because they are the hosts of Some of Our Thoughts as sommeliers, which means they know a lot about wine, and you can fit in a thimble, basically, what I know about wine, but I'm fascinated with it and love to taste it. And Carter, you have brought a bottle. So, we'll get right to the fun stuff before we know it. But Carter Lacey and Sarah Holder, and you ladies have been doing the podcast here with the Rogue Media Network for over a year now.
Yeah.
Oh, you're into season 2. I know that.
We're in season 2.
Had a delight listening to your very I went back and listened to your very first podcast. Your first episode.
No.
And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. And I have to tell you what I did this morning. It's kind of a gray, dreary Monday. And I'm listening to your podcast, listening to you talk about wine and just how you wax poetic and were educating me right off the bat about things. And I was outside taking pictures of the first few flowers that are blooming in my garden. I thought, these are two of my favorite things that I have combined. So, so let's get right to it. First of all, now, Carter, I know you grew up in Waco, know your folks, and I did not realize I knew you till you walked into the studio. I went, oh my gosh, well, because you look just like your parents.
Thank you. Yeah, they're
You're
beautiful
a mix.
people, for sure.
A wonderful mix. And Sarah, you've been around here a long time, kind of grew up in this neck of the woods. But what brought you two together? Because you have a wonderful chemistry on your podcast.
We've known each other since high school.
Have you?
Yes.
Yeah.
We knew kind of each other in high school, and then as years went by, honestly, during COVID,
Yeah.
we shared our love of wine. I manage Valley Mills Vineyards in the tasting room. Carter manages the wine shop here in Waco, and we just kind of said, hey, I have this new bottle. You have this new bottle. Let's make some food, maybe listen to music, drink some wine together. And
Yeah. Sarah has a turntable, and we started listening to vinyl, and I have vinyl at the wine shop. And so we would just trade records, truthfully. And when I think we realized the connection between music and wine and food, that was just like the Holy Trinity.
yes, definitely.
For us. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yes. And I mean, I got that right off the bat from your very first episode. You've done a number of, in fact, looking through, all your titles, I thought, I don't know which one, they all look so interesting. And I'm sure you've had a lot of fun sort of crafting and planning. Do you like to kind of focus on a given wine or?
Sometimes it's the wine, sometimes it's the record, really.
Oh, really? So it's kind of a music thing too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We just buy ourselves vinyl, pardon me, from time to time. And it's like, what wine goes with this?
Right.
And then we just get to drink a bunch until we figure it out.
Recipes too. Sometimes we'll find a recipe on Pinterest or on Instagram that pops up, or we both have so many cookbooks between the two of us. And it really just depends which day of the week, what actually calls out to us and inspires us, and we'll kind of play off of that. Yeah. The best days, though, are when I have a moment. I have a 2-year-old and I work full time. So I'm a pretty busy lady.
You're pretty busy.
Pretty busy. And if I'm ever able to go into the wine shop, because they have so many records there, I'll kind of get to look at the shelves, because at the wine shop there's so many shelves of different wines because all their wines are imported. I can kind of look and see, well, what wine would look best and sound best and drink best with each record, and those are really fun days too.
We just lay them all out and then like put the bottles with the label artwork and see what looks cute, and then also whatever makes sense.
Really. And for a lot of people, that's how they buy their wine.
Yes,
Absolutely.
No, I know that's true, like you just see the cute, funny, quirky little names and whatever. And I guess the winemakers know that too, because they
have to.
they got to come up with something. But what prompted this, so you understand, what prompted this pairing is this event. It's called Rootstock. It's a Texas wine festival that will be April 15th at Indian Spring Park. Of course, for many, many years, I was involved with the Wine and Food Fest at the Humane Society, but now they're doing a totally different thing. So is this the second year for this? How many?
This is the 6th year, actually.
The sixth year?
The sixth
Where have
year.
I been?
I don't know.
I haven't been going to this because
we didn't do it in 2020, obviously, in 2021. A little hiatus there
Right,
for obvious
right.
reasons. But the first one I was involved in was last year. But they did it in previous years. Yeah, quite a few years back. But this is the second one that I'm involved with and
In charge of.
in charge
Oh,
of.
you
I am-
are in charge
I
of
am the
it, yeah.
director this year, and I'm so excited to be such a big part of something so special, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, so how many people normally come? I know you've got, 16 wineries that will be represented.
Yeah, we have 16 wineries represented, and traffic-wise, we usually expect up to about 1,000 people, honestly. And, it's one of those things where it's from 12 until 6:30, so people, they can not come and go, but, they might block out, I'll be there from 12 till 2, or I'll be there from 3 to 6. We have a few different musicians playing as well. We have sponsors this year that are really awesome. We have Shelley Wilfrong from This is Texas Wine, her Texas Wine podcast, and then folks from the Texas Wine Club are our other sponsor this year. And we're so elated about more people getting involved and just really spreading our love of wine with the city of Waco. And I'm
So this is not a benefit to a charity nonprofit? Or
It's not a benefit. It's really just us bringing together wine enthusiasts, other wineries, and I always kind of joke and say, in a serious way, Texas is such a friendly state, right?
we're kind of known for that.
Such a friendly state, right?
Yeah, kind of a motto, maybe. Yeah.
And in the Texas wine industry, it just still goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
We're not out in Napa or Sonoma where everything's just so competitive. Everyone has to be the best of the best. Texans are very competitive, yes, but we just all love each other, especially in the wine industry. And with the weather and the climate the last couple years, on the vineyard side of things, it's really made everyone work together and just get a lot closer. And so us supporting other wineries and just shedding light on the Texas wine industry, because it's come such a long way in the last 10 years, the last 5 years. It's really come a long way, and it's really going to some really amazing places.
Well, if you haven't been to the Hill Country, to Fredericksburg in particular, in several years, that's the big change. I mean,
exploded.
everywhere you look, there's another winery. That has been a huge change over the last not many
Absolutely.
years.
Right. Yeah. And it's a Texas wine country.
Yeah, yeah.
Truly. I mean, yeah.
Well, now you referenced the weather and stuff. I know the drought, has, but honestly, doesn't that make for better?
Sometimes it can, yes. If
Better
you stress
grapes?
certain vines, then it can actually produce some really amazing quality grapes after that.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit, Carter, about what you do. And it's my understanding, what I heard you say on your podcast, that, of course, the wine shop is at 18th and Austin.
Yes, ma'am.
And in Waco, all natural wines. What does that mean?
Natural just means low intervention. So I would say Valley Mills is actually technically natural wine. It's very low intervention with the least amount of human interference in the winemaking process.
Really?
So we have one of the head winemakers out at your gig is a man that used to run my gig, Charlie.
Shout out Charlie.
Charlie, we love Charlie. And then Joey has his own opinions about natural wine. But
Yeah, Joey Bunyasco. Yeah, I got to interview him for Traveling
Absolutely.
Texas when we went out to Valley Mills Vineyard. Yeah, a very, very sharp young man, knows a lot. He
very
kind of grew up
he did.
in the in the business.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think they planted the vines about 16 years ago. And so
Yes.
everything that's out at the vineyard is pretty mature at this point. And I actually do their whole. So I work there too.
Oh, do you? Okay. Well, good. Well, it's a lovely spot. I mean, I go out there usually when Dave Wild, the Dave Wild trio is playing. We just love it. And it's just so peaceful and lovely.
It's
I
like a
always say
sanctuary.
It really is a magical place. And I don't just say that because I work there. Even before I worked there, I remember entering the building and going up all 52 stairs and just,
Yeah, I
just
did.
taking it.
Took me a bit to get my breath after the.
Yeah, but
after
just
the
really
stairs.
taking a minute and taking all of it in. And in this part of Texas, there really aren't a lot of vineyards. There aren't a lot of wineries, so it's a really special place.
That
It really
view,
is.
it can transport you pretty much anywhere.
And it's kind of the very, very tip and beginning of the Texas Hill Country, that part of Valley Mills.
It is. It is. When you're standing there, just outside the patio, and you look out, you do. You go like, yeah, we're right on the cusp.
Yes. And if you're
Of the hill
driving
country.
by, you really can't see
Oh, no.
any of it.
No, you have no idea.
You have no idea.
You drive down that like long and windy road and then just walk up all the stairs and then the view hits you
And you're like,
right in the
oh,
face.
you're transported.
Yeah, it's beautiful. When I was out there, it was in the winter, and so Joey was like, "Oh, well, if you really should come back when there's leaves on the." But I said, "No, this is part of the year. This is part of your year that you have as a winemaker, and part of it is the beauty of the vines. Is they're just
Right.
there.
And a lot of
dormancy.
people don't realize that the vines are not green and lush and full all year round. You'd be surprised
Oh,
how
yeah.
many guests come in and they're like, is everything dead? What happened? I'm
Yeah,
like,
what
"No,
happened?"
They're dormant. They're sleeping. They'll
It's
wake back up
January.
in March. Yeah.
Well, there are some just some great wineries in Central Texas. We were talking earlier about Florence, the Florence Vineyard, which is there in Williamson County, and it's like something from Napa. I did have the
it's
opportunity
beautiful.
to go one time to Napa, and yeah, it is reminiscent of that as well. It's a wedding venue and the whole bit, and but I know a lot of these wineries are very intent on entering their wines into festivals and things and trying to win prize. What is the meaning behind a prize, or did
Or like
they
an
just
award. Just to say we got.
did they just pay? Just paid to enter, and so everybody gets a prize. That's not how that works? No,
It's
really.
really not. So a lot of ours that we enter, we're actually pretty particular on the competitions that we enter at Valley Mills Vineyards.
They're all blind tastings, aren't they?
All the ones that we enter are blind tasting.
Right.
So, for instance, the San Francisco Chronicle wine competition, our 2019 Estate Tempranillo actually won Best of Class, which means all the judges, which are all sommeliers, really well-known, well-rounded sommeliers from all over, they come together. They do what's called a blind tasting, meaning they can't see the label of the wine.
They're not influenced by how cute the
They're
label
not
is.
influenced by the cute labels. Yeah, exactly. They're just getting a taste of different wines, and they picked ours, and so now we get to tell everyone that everyone in California liked our wine the most.
and that had to kind of.
Definitely.
Maybe.
I love it when we
But
can kind
yeah.
of stick it to the California.
No, definitely. But
Did I
yes,
say that?
We,
Yeah, I did. I said that.
we enter all the competitions that are blind taste competitions.
Yeah.
Just to kind of say, hey, look what
Yeah,
we
just
did.
tell us what you think about how this tastes. Yeah.
And we only send wines too that we're really passionate about, and there are quite a few that are just really special to us. Typically wine club exclusives or wines that we just haven't made a huge amount of that we just kind of dialed back to really keep them as more of a reserve taste wine. But Hi, this is Sarah,
And I'm Carter.
and this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun. Wine and Vinyl.
So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
911, what's your emergency?
Do you hear that? It's coming from the house.
It's coming from inside the house? Do you mean? Could it be?
The Poltergeist. New from Rogue Media. Two haunted hotties talking about haunted places. Every episode, we dive deep into the darkest places and give you a bit of history.
We're getting spooky in all the right places.
You've gobbled your last ghoul.
Follow along for the craziest and spookiest stories with Debbie's Dark Tourism. The Stanley Hotel,
Winchester House,
The Alamo,
Hotel Monte Vista.
and more spooky places. Find us at _Poltergals. POLTERGALS.
Look over your shoulder. It's us,
The Poltergals. Wherever you consume the podcast, you can find us there.
Well, there are lots and lots of terms I kind of want to get into, but I want you to get into that bottle.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to.
If it's a white and a bubbly, it may be warming up. But is that okay? I know sometimes it doesn't matter how cold.
Well, this one I kept in the freezer for quite some time before we came here, Anne.
Oh, okay. So it's chilled.
Yes.
So
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
me all about it, Carter.
This one is actually from the wine shop because we were talking about it on our show later. I wish I had a VMV bottle that I could share with you today. But this is Julie and Toby Bainbridge. She is actually a farmer from Oklahoma, and he is an Englishman that expatriated to France. And I met them in Austin, Texas last year. And it's called Les Jongleurs. That means the jugglers. And then there's one called L'Acrobat. That's the acrobats. So they're just silly names. There's like 50-50. That's 50% Gamay and Grello that we love. That's like the best pizza wine maybe ever besides Blue Glue.
Really? Uh-huh.
Yeah. There's just a handful of very specific ones that they make, but this is a sparkling Chenin. So if you'd like to.
Okay. Yeah. It's not after 5. I know it could be after 5. I don't know what time you're listening to this. Okay, so I want to talk to you too about what you did to train to become a sommelier. What prompted you to do that to begin with? You know, there's so much about you I want to find out. But I've been to a few wine tastings, so I know, just like I said, little tiny bit. I know you can even. Is this right? Just half of the nose, you know.
We always like to stick our nose just right in there.
I always tell people during tastings, you're going to feel very silly, and that means you're doing it correctly.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That is right. So we, because it has some gas in it, you don't necessarily have to agitate it, like swirl it around, but it opens up the aroma.
I see. Yeah, some little teeny tiny bubbles.
Absolutely.
Little
Yeah.
bitty bubbles. Okay, so yeah. Oh yeah. Cheers.
This is always like our
cheers,
go-to.
cheers, yeah. Okay. So what? Tell me what I'm going to taste.
This is a sparkling Chenin Blanc. Chenin is actually a huge grape in France, and it's blended into most things. It's not necessarily a champagne grape. Chardonnay is specifically the
Right.
white champagne grape, but it's a cousin of Chardonnay, actually. And the lineage, you'd be amazed to see like what has propagated what throughout the process of time. And yeah, I think you can kind of get like some of those bright citrus notes from it.
Mm-hmm.
It also just has like a little bit more depth and complexity. It's not going to be quite as oaky or buttery. Like
So you're using all these terms. you've hit a bunch of them just in that last sentence. Yeah, the finish.
Yeah, it has like a very stark finish, doesn't it?
Yeah, where you kind of like,
Yeah.
as opposed to just, there. See how descriptive I am? I don't know. But no, it's very, and generally, and I heard you say on your podcast that you were just a red girl. You like the red.
Yes, I
and
used to primarily be a red girl.
Normally don't like white, but I'm kind of interested in, I think I won't go into why I don't like Chardonnay, but
And I try to not talk about that either. I'm not a Chardonnay. I'm not a Chardonnay
She's
gal.
not.
She
Okay,
is
really?
really not.
well, we went to Sonoma. I told you I got to go to Sonoma.
You don't have to name any names.
We went
names,
to a wine tasting, and I was not spitting out. And
It'll
so
get you.
I did not feel good at all. I felt really, really bad. And I decided I don't like Chardonnay. So anyway, and I do have a kind of a sensitivity, I guess, to sulfites.
Oh,
Absolutely.
And I can always tell, and this is one thing, the Valley Mills wine, there's a blend that I enjoyed the other day, and I thought, well, is this going to give me a headache tomorrow? No. So I figured, no, not at all. Not at all. And so, yeah, because there's something that, your physical body can react to
Absolutely.
negatively.
Right.
And I won't go on the right, all things in moderation.
It's a moderation.
We don't, but if you go to a wine tasting, spit out. Just saying.
Or at least have the bucket nearby.
Have a bucket. Yeah, as you say, if you're doing it right, you do feel like this is kind of dumb. But no, this is very nice. And so what would you suggest? I mean, is it you fish and chicken, you drink white wine and heavier meats with the red?
For this
Is that
particular bottle, the recipe we're recording today after this, it's a onion tartine, actually, almost like a balsamic onion tart.
We've
Something
kind of
very French, something different.
Oh yeah. We've exhausted a lot of the traditional kind of entree options with animal proteins like chicken, steak, fish, pasta. And so I think for season 2, we wanted to just kind of get outside the box a little bit for ourselves and just start cooking things that we really wanted to cook, that we were excited about. And all of the videos on Instagram and TikTok that we send each other about people making really beautiful food, like just a very simple interpretation of a blueberry bagel.
Right. Oh, really? Yeah.
And like there's wine for that, and there's a wine for everything, truthfully, if you think enough about it.
And back to your question earlier, what kind of brought us into the industry to become sommeliers? I've always loved wine. I will admit I'm one of those people that when I was younger started out sweet wine first and then drier as
Oh, I
time
thought it
went
was the
on.
other way.
Not for me.
Not for me either. No.
I love dry wine now, absolutely. But I was always just very curious about it. And honestly, for me, it was when I started working out at the vineyard because I was so immersed in it. I just had my thirst for all of that knowledge just grew and grew. And I was buying my own study books. I was trying more wines. I was visiting the wine shop more just to try different things. I was hosting wine studies to taste multiple wines. And since then, actually, the vineyard helped me get quite a few certifications at this point to help my sommelier journey, and can't thank them enough. So
Okay, so as you indicated, it is a journey. I mean, you begin
It's a
studying. I mean, did you take courses? I would think you can't do this kind of thing online.
You can.
You can now.
Yes.
Can you not?
you can
Because it
now.
just seems like you need somebody there going, now this is what you're tasting, and this is what you look for, and what you
Right.
smell, and
it depends on which level. Some of the lower levels you can just do 100% online.
Yeah.
And actually, with my Texas wine certification that I got this past year, it was all virtual, but they sent you, I think, 6 different Texas wines, and then you would do a group tasting.
right.
on
That's like you're
Zoom.
together. Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
and that was really fun.
that would work fine.
But there are say level 4 with WSET, level 4 sommelier, even level 3. Some of them you do still have to physically be there to do the group tastings and to do
The blind
more-
tasting.
The blind tastings, yes, exactly. For the exams too, most of
right,
the time you have to be
and
there
so you're being
physically.
judged and graded and all that kind of thing.
And then
Oh,
Carter's
I would
journey started with the Parent Trap.
Oh gosh, Sarah.
What?
The 1998 Parent Trap, if you've ever seen with Dennis Quaid and
Oh, yeah.
Lindsay Lohan. I mean, we were like 7 when that movie came
Yes.
out, and I just thought,
Classic for us.
classic. Chessie.
I
literally
remember
an
the first
inspiration.
Parent Trap. That's
Just
what I'm
amazing,
thinking. Yeah.
too.
It was the original, yeah. Parent
Yeah.
Trap classic.
Okay.
Her dad owned a vineyard in Napa, and she was riding her horse through the vineyard, and I just thought, I want to do that.
Yeah.
That's what my life is going
And
to
your
look
that's
like.
your life now.
That's my life. Yeah, very lucky.
Yeah. It's funny how things just spark your interest.
Absolutely.
You know, obviously you weren't tasting wine, drinking wine at that, or maybe you were. But it's really it is a commitment that you have to learn and to study and to
course,
understand.
Definitely.
We've both been students of wine for about 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wine is one of those ever-changing things. You know, even with vintage to vintage, you know, you could have a 2018 Grenache and then you bottled the same thing. The 2019 vintage could taste completely different. So it's just
Really?
it's a
Yeah.
fun journey. Tasting different vintages, tasting different grapes, different wines. There's always something to learn.
Of course, Texas wines are kind of, I guess, known for, you know, they bring other grapes in. That it's not just, you know, the wine. Or are there a lot
Well,
of wineries
so-
that just bottle their own
For
grapes?
instance, back to rootstock. So all of the wineries that we select for rootstock, it is 100% Texas-grown grapes and Texas-made wine. There are some wineries in Texas that are bringing in grapes
Right.
from, say,
That was-
California, Washington, Oregon.
That was my
but-
understanding. Yeah, that a lot of them did
but
it.
there's
So
quite a few that we just really love and cherish. That 100% Texas-grown grapes, Texas-made wine.
yeah. Oh well, that's good because the Texas wine scene really is something that has evolved rapidly.
Yes. Yes.
As
you
we
were saying
mentioned, all the
earlier-
wineries in Fredericksburg.
It's
yeah.
a completely different journey down there. 10 years ago, you drive through like High and the little cities like Stonewall and
Right.
the way to
Johnson
Fredericksburg,
City,
Johnson
all of
City.
that.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, where there were maybe 50 before, maybe there's like
Maybe.
500 now.
There's just
See
so
now
many.
those numbers, Bob. I was thinking maybe there are 50 now because it seemed like no, but you're telling me there's
No,
I don't know how many there are exactly, but there's so many, and they're popping up every other month.
Every
it
other
seems
month,
like,
yeah.
Honestly, whether it's just a vineyard and tasting room or just a tasting room,
Absolutely.
just a small little winery,
and
they're
a little
popping up all over.
restaurant. Yeah, of course.
so they're not necessarily growing the grapes and,
Not
and
all of
like they
them.
do at Valley Mills. I mean, you
Right.
can go out and see the process, which I think is
Yeah,
fascinating
I
and
think it's
wonderful
special.
for visitors.
So yeah, it just depends where you go. But for rootstock, all Texan.
Yeah, I think that's great, and this will be at Indian Spring Park, and I guess admission price. I mean, is this like a
Yeah.
cover charge? And
So if you buy tickets, say now, tickets are $40 on our website, and that gets you your entrance to the entrance to the festival, and then you'll get 15 wine tasting tickets. And kind of to gauge it for you, every single winery will have 3 different wines to taste.
Okay.
So you can kind of pick your wines. I would suggest kind of make a lap and don't commit to anything quite yet. Scope it out.
See what's
what
there.
everyone has. Yeah. And then you also get some food bite tickets as well. So you can kind of pair food with the different wine tastings that you're having.
So do you have restaurants providing that, or they just have a
So we
little charcuterie board, or what?
No, we have a few different food trucks that are
Oh,
going to be there
okay.
this year. Yeah,
Good,
so they'll be
yeah.
supplying the food bites for those tickets, and then they'll also have food to purchase, of course. But the tickets are $40 right now online, so I would suggest getting them out.
That's
getting them
reasonable,
ahead
yeah.
of time.
Absolutely.
The week before the festival, they do go up to $50 per person. And then if you wait last minute and you are walking by and you're like, oh yeah, let's go, they are $60 at the gate. So
Okay.
get your tickets now.
Yeah. Note to self if you plan on going. Hopefully the weather will be great. You never know.
Hopefully. We will have plenty of tents to stand under if something
it's-
crazy
Right.
happens.
It is April. You never know.
You never know. Just bring a rain poncho if it looks like rain.
Right.
But hopefully the weather will be great for
Yeah.
you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is a good opportunity for somebody if they thought, I'd like to learn a little bit more, because I've always found it fascinating to talk to the people, that are
Absolutely.
that are there, because they know so much.
And speaking of that, this is also something that Rootstock does that not a lot of other wine festivals do. We actually require someone that actually works at the winery or in the vineyard to be pouring those tastings. Whereas if you go to some other wineries, or not wineries, but wine festivals, a lot of times they just get in volunteers that are pouring the wine. So they might have a little spiel about, this rosé tastes like strawberries and watermelon. But if you ask them any personal questions like, tell me about the winery, where are you located, what grapes do you grow, they really don't have the answers for you. So we really value that as well when we go to different festivals and kind of scope out and remember, what did we love about the festival? What could they maybe have improved on? And that was a big one for me, since I've been to quite a few, is I want that human interaction, that connection to tell me about the wine that I'm tasting. What do you do? Tell me about the process. And it's what you remember. It's the little things that you want to take home with you. And then you're prompted to usually buy a bottle, which you can purchase bottles at Rootstock too, which is huge.
Oh, so that's normally not a thing?
Normally it's not. Some
Really?
festivals, yes, not always. But yeah, you can do your wine tastings, and then that's our big thing too. Like you can purchase bottles at Rootstock from all the wineries. So you can take a whole case home if you wanted.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I'm so glad to hear that this is still a viable thing, and that more and more people are becoming interested in wine as we see. I mean, I think the supply indicates the demand.
Absolutely.
for something like wine. But again, it's it can be so daunting. It can be so kind of intimidating. I mean, is it really true? You get what you pay for?
I've always told people, with my job, I have some really beautiful bottles I can import and sell for a very fair price, like $20, $25. And there's an incredible amount of wine that you can have at the $25 price point. That's, between, I call it VMV, Valley Mills Vineyards, California, or something from France, Italy, or Spain that is a very classic representation, or really wild and funky stuff like what we're drinking right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily like the price. You just, if you like it or you don't. If you're willing to invest in kind of your education in wine and your experience in wine, you can get some really interesting stuff in Waco.
Definitely.
I would say like the wine shop has been my catalyst for wine education and my growth and experiencing more stuff. Between me and Sarah, we have the two best wine jobs in this whole city.
I agree.
Well, it sounds like it, but I guess my most interaction with anybody dealing with wine is April.
Oh,
At
absolutely.
HEB, and she's my go-to girl, because if I'm buying a gift wine for somebody, she go, I know Bob likes this one, and she knows.
She knows.
She knows. And and even at some place like HEB, when they have the little sticker on it that says this is April's pick,
and you know exactly what
it's
you're
going to be
into.
okay, probably.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so it's definitely something to rely on expertise of folks who've studied it and love it, have a passion for it as well.
right.
Well, we could just go on and on, but because I really have thoroughly enjoyed our time together. There's so much why I really wanted to get in the tall weeds about what was it you referred to, the the wine tasted like bell pepper.
Oh,
you were
here's
talking. You were talking what a vegetation,
Vegetal,
vegetal. You know, terms like that. So much. So just tune into their podcast, and you can learn all of that. You know, all of those kind of things. But I like to end these little visits with a little questionnaire that I shamelessly ripped off from James Lipton and Inside the Actors Studio.
I love him.
Love that show.
You remember that show? Well, okay, this is my take on his little question. So I'll ask the both of you, what is your favorite word?
Transcendiary.
That's a good word.
Serendipitous.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Those are good words. What's your least favorite word?
No.
You got a 2-year-old? Is that what I heard?
She does.
Yep.
Oh man, Sarah, that's amazing.
Sorry, I knew my answer very quick for that.
I know, and I've heard that before. I've heard can't, you know, those are pretty popular
My
words.
least favorite word,
Mm-hmm.
suckle. Listen to episode 2 of our podcast. If you
Okay.
Sarah's reaction to that.
All right. Well, I'm starting at the beginning, so I'm working my way through all your podcasts.
They get better
for
and
sure.
better, we
They
promise.
do, yeah.
Oh, I know. I was thoroughly charmed by your very first one. So honestly, Some of Our Thoughts is the name of the podcast. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
It would definitely be wine for me in all of those categories.
I get that.
Yeah.
For me, actually, I'm going to say movement. I
She
grew
is.
up dancing. And
Really?
I still dance, yeah. And that's kind of my freeing.
Wine
Yeah.
helps with that, though.
Yeah,
Wine
and your-
does help with that.
And your love of music and
Definitely.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What turns you off then creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
The word no.
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's only so much time in the day. I
you're
So
right.
much time in the day.
You're right. What sound do you love the most?
The ocean.
Sarah's laugh.
You both have
so
cute
sweet.
laughs.
I literally put her ringtone as like a little like do do do. That sounds like her laugh to me. So even if I'm like dead asleep, if I hear that like this morning, it went off and I was like, oh, there she is.
There's Sarah.
It's
There's
time to
Sarah.
go.
What sound do you hate?
The word no.
Really loud cars or motorcycles.
Yeah.
Like the revving.
Yeah.
Oh, it just goes, it's like nails on a chalkboard to my
Okay.
brain.
Okay. No, I hear you. Okay, you have the dream job. You've already said that you know. What other profession would you like to have tried?
I grew up actually wanting to be a dance instructor, so I would still like to do that. And it's never you're never too old, and it's never too late.
It's never too late.
Right.
And I believe I am one of those people that I really believe I can do anything.
Yeah.
So I still
She
think
can.
it's going to
I
be in the
believe
cards
it.
for me. Maybe like a 1 day a week, very part time. I want to do it all.
Yeah.
Turn up.
And I feel younger and younger each year, actually. Even with the 2-year-old, I feel like I'm in my 30s, and I feel like life is almost beginning again for me.
Yep.
In the best way possible.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. So what would you, Carter? What would you like to have tried or may yet want to try?
I actually just recently found a book where I, like about 10 years ago, had written, like, if I could have done anything, what would I want to do? And I just wrote, make wine.
Make wine.
Make wine. Yeah.
Oh, so become a winemaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still can.
You absolutely, and I love talking to winemakers.
I know some people.
Yeah,
Hey, I think I know those same
we could
people.
we could put you in touch. What job do you know you would not want to do? No way.
I could never work in a hospital.
Very that.
I can't do blood and
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, I've
can't
heard that
do it.
before.
I just could never
and in
do
fact,
it.
I've asked a doctor. You know what? That wasn't it. But I said I've heard people go, they would not want your job. And we're grateful that you do it. But
Right.
Yeah.
Can I actually tell you, I don't think I could ever be a banker because I actually have number dyslexia. It's a very real thing where, like, I'll see a number and switch them up in my head, and that would be disastrous.
Yeah, it would be problematic.
It would be.
Problematic. Well, finally, what do you want to hear the Lord say as you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh, man. What'd you bring?
Cheers.
You guys. You're great. I mean, this has been so much fun. I hope you've had as much fun as I have. Rootstock, again, a Texas Wine Festival, April 15th at Indian Spring Park in Waco. Go online to
RootstockWinefest.com.
Get your tickets early because they will be more expensive at the gate. But will be worth every penny of it if you're into wine and maybe aren't into wine but like to learn a little bit more about it. It'd be a perfect opportunity. Thank you so much, Carter and Sarah. It's been a delight. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you again next time on Central Texas Life. Bye-bye. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.